Sit patiently and inly ruminate the morning's danger.
Including the brutal street fight at Madison Square Garden for the Royal Rumble. And Kevin, an interesting matchup here to kick us off. Once again, it's mentor against pupil. The Big Boss Man set to take on Prince Albert.
Following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Cobb County, Georgia, weighing in at 305 pounds, the Big Boss Man.
Boss Man against Prince Albert certainly promised to be a brutal affair, but I don't think anything could match up what happened at the Royal Rumble, Michael, between Triple H and Cactus Jack. Sure, Triple H is still the World Wrestling Federation champion, but he absorbed a career-changing amount of punishment. I don't think Triple H will ever be the same.
And also at the Royal Rumble, which you saw exclusively here on Channel 4 last week, the Royal Rumble match itself, controversy swirling around the winner, The Rock, the People's Champ. The Big Show claims The Rock's feet touched the floor first.
Boston, Massachusetts, weighing in at 347 pounds, Prince Albert.
And the Big Show might have a legitimate beef. The Big Show says that he has evidence, he has proof that The Rock's 2 feet did indeed touch the floor. And that search for evidence continues, but until then, the Big Show has kind of aligned himself now, Michael, interestingly enough, with Triple H. And the one thread that those two men hold is very interesting.
Yeah, hatred to The Rock, number one. But number two, the Big Show showing Triple H some fuzzy photographs from the Royal Rumble match yesterday on SmackDown. Triple H said, bring me some eyewitnesses. The bottom line is that the Big Show can prove that The Rock's feet actually did touch the floor, Kevin. Triple H is going to give the Big Show the opportunity to meet The Rock. The winner of that will meet Triple H at WrestleMania. But for now, it's The Rock heading to WrestleMania in April.
And for now, Triple H is glad to have the Big Show on his side. And as we saw yesterday on SmackDown, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon Helmsley are not shy about using that 7-foot monster.
Yeah, you know, I like to call this this little reunion between the Big Show and Triple H an alliance of convenience. It helps Triple H because it allows the McMahon-Helmsley era to be stronger than ever. And it's also going to help the Big Show because eventually he may get a shot at The Rock.
Well, one of the great stories told at the Royal Rumble is Boss Man's opening up with some right hands on his former pupil was, of course, the debut of Taz. The New World Wrestling Federation superstar stopped the undefeated streak of Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle will appear here in the hour. Kurt Angle feels, Michael, that his undefeated streak is still intact.
Yeah, because he believes Taz used an illegal chokehold at the Royal Rumble. We'll talk all about that in a little bit as you see Prince Albert with the power hammering away on Big Boss Man. You know, Boss Man was one of these superstars who looked exceptional in the Royal Rumble match. He was in perhaps the longest of any superstar.
I'll tell you, out of all the history of the Royal Rumble match, I think that this one was the most competitive ever.
What a heat we have in store for you this week.
Oh, wait a minute.
Acolytes and Headbangers.
Right out in front of us.
Prince Albert tossed over the top rope by the Big Boss Man. It's the Acolytes and Headbangers in action later in the hour. Plus a look at the new restaurant, WWF New York, in New York City. And look at Boss Man celebrating.
Right out here in front of us now, Michael.
Look out now. Prince Albert into the announce table. Face first in the hands of the Boss Man. Oh, get him out of here. Boss Man with the right hands to Prince Albert.
We got a front row seat and Prince Albert getting a face beaten.
And Big Boss Man's in control of his former buddy, Prince Albert.
Well, I think the boss man sees a lot of himself in Prince Albert. That's why the two of them paired up in the first place. But whether it was ego, who knows what the problems were, but it led to a split between the two in this contest here on Heat.
Speaking of egos and problems, what the hell is wrong with the Dudley boys?
Wow. You know, those two men are absolutely demented. They're sociopaths, Michael. What they did to Terry was unspeakable.
Yeah, Terry suffered whiplash, severe emotional trauma, head, neck, and back injuries, miraculously no broken bones after Bubba Ray Dudley, oh my, on Raw this past week, powerbombed Terry through a table for the sole reason that he was upset the Hardy Boys beat he and Devon at the Royal Rumble in the first ever tag team table match.
Well, we'll have to see how that impacts the spirit of the Hardy Boys.
Man. What a boot by Boss Man. Cover now. There's two, and Prince Albert just gets the shoulder up.
Michael, many say that Terry was the heart and soul behind the Hardy Boys. Their spiritual sister. They had a very close bond. Later on in the hour, Jonathan Coachman will sit down and talk to the Hardy Boys, and I've got to wonder if the Hardy Boys, while not suffering any physical trauma, maybe their emotional spirit is broken.
And I got to wonder if Coachman's going to be falling in any garbage cans this week on Heat. Oh, man.
That guy's a walking disaster.
What a boot to the face by Boss Man. Follows it up with a clothesline to the sternum now. And Prince Albert, look at this. Boss Man just walked into that sidewalk slam by Prince Albert. Tremendous strength by the 350-pounder.
Not too many physical specimens on this planet quite like Prince Albert, but he's here in the World Wrestling Federation. Just one of the huge physical superstars that you folks are beginning to see week after week here on Heat. You're seeing just how competitive the field is here in the World Wrestling Federation.
Boss Man Prince Albert exchanging blows. For those of you in Channel 4 just joining us, welcome to the World Wrestling Federation. Welcome to this unique brand of sports entertainment. What a kick by Prince Albert. And Prince Albert, who learned his craft, in part thanks to the big Boss Man, is taking it out on his former teacher.
Boss Man is trapped, Michael. He cannot extricate himself from this predicament.
Don't do this, Prince Albert. Referee Jack Doan trying to prevent him, and Jack Doan tossed across the ring.
That's going to cost him.
Welcome back to the WWF, Mr. Doan. Oh, man.
This isn't good.
That's going to cause a disqualification of Prince Albert.
Winner of this match is all-day disqualification, the Big Bushman.
Prince Albert, I don't think he even cared if he won or lost, Kevin.
Just seemed to want to extract some vengeance, wear out some of that frustration he's been feeling towards the Big Boss Man. Wait a minute, Michael.
Hey, Baldo! Baldo! Yeah, I'm talking to you. Now you're making me proud, boy.
What was that all about? Baldo. So Kevin, Prince Albert using the Big Boss Man's nightstick against him. Welcome to Heat here on Channel 4. Michael Cole and Kevin Kelly at ringside. We've got a great show in store for you this afternoon.
We certainly do. Not only did we just see the student battle the teacher, but a little later on, we'll see the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle in action. And also, the coach is very busy, Michael.
That's right. Coach going to have an exclusive interview with the Hardy Boys.
The Rock's back at WWF New York to autograph copies of his new best-selling book for the millions and millions of the great one's adoring fans.
The Rock is signing his book right now as he speaks. It's the #1 book in the country in record time, The Rock said. It's a testament to the millions and the millions of The Rock's fans. The Rock says he appreciates that, no doubt, if you smell what The Rock is cooking. You smell it.
And check out the WWF Divas at the very same place the next day. And here's the scene at WWF New York yesterday, with a host of WWF superstars on hand for a charity function.
And welcome to Radio with Attitude. This is Radio WWF. I'm Michael Cole, and we welcome you to the World Wrestling Federation. Bradshaw and Road Dogg are going at it in the studio!
Rudy, look out!
Oh, no!
Brother, I can't wait till you come back. We're going to light the world up.
Believe me, I'd like to punch you right in your damn mouth so hard.
This is Radio WWF. What is the strategy to win this Royal Rumble matchup?
don't get thrown over the top rope.
This is Radio WWF.
If you can survive me, there's not going to be a whole lot left for you in February.
I will beat Cactus Jack worse than anybody. I don't care if it's in the States, in Japan. I will beat him worse than he has ever been beaten in his entire life.
Royal Rumble weekend was wild in New York City. World Wrestling Federation superstars taking over the Big Apple. Right now, an exclusive interview. Jonathan Coachman sitting down with the high-flying risk takers, the Hardy Boys.
Guys, thank you very much. Right here, Channel 4 Heat. We've got a new section here for you every week. We're going to be introducing you to different superstars and things you may not normally see on World Wrestling Federation television. And I'm joined this week, of course, by a dynamic duo, the High Flyers, the Hardy Boys. And guys, I got to ask you about what happened last week on Raw, what the Dudley Boys did to Terry. How are you guys doing mentally?
Well, you know, we're all right. In case you didn't see Monday, Terry was put through a table by the Dudley Boys, and she's banged and bruised, but she's definitely not beaten. You know, Terry is one of the toughest women I know. Terry will be back in the corner of Matt and Jeff Hardy before it's all said and done. You can believe that.
And, you know, Terry's pretty messed up right now, but it's really messed up what the Dudley Boys did to her, and their payback, it's on its way.
We'll get to the Dudley Boys in just a second, but a lot of people over in the UK that may not be as familiar with you guys. We got a lot of new fans over there. Kind of tell us where you guys are from and your backgrounds a little bit.
Well, I'm Matt Hardy personally, and I'm from Cameron, North Carolina. I'm 25 years old. I've been wrestling since the end of '93, start of '94. And, you know, Jeff and I were basically two of the first people to ever do backyard wrestling. You know, we had our own trampoline, and we cut down 4 trees and put garden hose with wire around them. And we basically emulated wrestling that we saw on TV, and we taught ourselves how to wrestle, you know, by that.
And I'm Matt's brother, Jeff Hardy. I'm the younger. I'm 22 years old here in the World Wrestling Federation, and it's just good to know that we are the WWF's youngest tag team champions ever.
Now, of course, you guys, as you mentioned in the ring, it appears when I watch you, and I know when the fans over in the UK watch, that you guys seem like you're most at home when you are in the ring, in the arena.
Absolutely so. I mean, that's, you know, the whole while we've grown up, since we were, you know, 9 and 12, we've been in the ring, we've been wrestling in one way, shape, or form. And to be in the WWF is just the greatest accomplishment of all time. And at such an early age, you know, we first broke in here. Jeff was 16, I was 19 when we wrestled our first matches. We were underneath the contract at ages 20 and 23. You know, and already we've been the youngest tag team champions in history. We were part of the greatest ladder match in history.
Has done a lot for me here in the World Wrestling Federation, or what I like to refer to as the Swanton Bomb. I started doing it off the top rope to the ring. Now I'm doing it to the floor. I've done it off the stage, done it off a cage, and last week I caught myself doing it off a balcony in Madison Square Garden. So it's created a lot of memories for me already.
You know, when we look back at our career, you know, it was really great that we were the World Tag Team Champions for, you know, for a matter of 4 or 5 weeks. But you have to say the shining highlight of our career has been that ladder match, because that's where we really turned the corner in our career, and we kind of moved up to the next level. And we did it with Christian and Edge. There's not 2 better guys I would have wanted to do it with in the ring. And as long as we wrestle, I'm sure Matt and Jeff Hardy will be remembered for that ladder match. Spectacular.
Oh, it was fantastic. And you talk about some of the tag teams you've gone up against. You know, this past week you went up against the New Age Outlaws, Edge and Christian. But right now, the guys you have to be looking out for would have to be the Dudley Boys.
Absolutely. Well, the Dudley Boys and the Hardys have big issues now. You know, we built to the table match at Royal Rumble where we defeated the Dudley Boys. And then the next night they come off, they say they respect us. But, you know, they turn that around, they come out, they beat us up. We both got 3D'd, and then they put Terry through a table. So it's pretty much a fresh issue. And the Dudley Boys definitely have a receipt coming.
And to really kick things off with that table match, I have no idea what's coming next, but I'm sure it's going to be insane and just out of control.
You know, when you talk about the Dudley Boys, they are from Extreme Championship Wrestling, you know, and they are extreme. And Jeff and I work that style as well. So when we get together, there's definitely some battles that are going to take place. You know, the fact is, we're going to take care of the Dudleys, and then our big goal for the year 2000 is to become the World Tag Team Champions again.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that you guys can get it done. Always spectacular in the ring, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Of course, Matt and Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Boys. I am the coach, Jonathan Coachman. Both of these guys, their first trip, they're coming over to London, Earl's Court, on May 6th, so you'll want to get out and see them. For now, that's it for right here on Heat Channel 4. We'll see you next week.
Still to come on Heat, the Headbangers are in action against Faarooq and Bradshaw, the Acolytes. Update on the condition of Stone Cold Steve Austin following his surgery in San Antonio, Texas. But coming up next, the man who thinks he's still undefeated, the Olympian, Kurt Angle, in action.
And so, our scene must to the battle fly, where, oh, for pity, we shall much disgrace with 4 or 5 most vile and ragged foils, right ill-disposed, in brawl ridiculous, the name of Agincourt.
I'll tell you, that is some complex in New York City, WWF New York. And if you're ever over here, folks, you might want to take a visit. A lot of history at WWF New York.
Following contest is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, weighing in at 237 pounds, is the only Olympic gold medalist to grace a World Wrestling Federation ring and the most celebrated real athlete in the history of the WWF, Kurt Angle.
So, Kevin, is Kurt Angle undefeated or isn't he? The record books say no, but in Kurt Angle's mind, the answer is yes.
It all happened at the Royal Rumble. It was Taz versus Kurt Angle. Taz choked Kurt Angle out. Kurt never tapped out, but he was out cold, and Angle believes Taz used an illegal chokehold.
As all of you know, I am still undefeated here in the World Wrestling Federation. And there is one man that I compare myself to. His name is Cal Ripken.
Great shortstop.
Oh yeah.
That's baseball.
Well, he's a major leaguer and holds the Iron Man
Except
record.
for one thing. If Mr. Ripken had a little more intensity, integrity, and intelligence, his streak would still be alive today. It would. It would.
Please. Kurt Angle talking about Cal Ripken's streak for most consecutive baseball games
His
played.
opponent, he weighs in at 304 pounds, Mideon.
Well, Kurt Angle's going to look to change his streak, which is currently a losing streak. Here against Mideon here on Heat. You know, Taz made quite an impression, Michael, in the World Wrestling Federation, and I think Kurt Angle has to be looking over his shoulder. A guy like Taz doesn't care about wins or losses. He's going to care about opportunities. He's going to strike when the time is right.
Taz, an overachiever from the streets of Brooklyn, New York. And the Main Street Posse on SmackDown yesterday found out firsthand that Taz is a tough one. And what about Kurt Angle? You know, he talks about integrity, Kevin, but yet he attacked from behind. Ambushed Taz on SmackDown yesterday.
Well, of course, Kurt Angle should be concerned more with deeds and not words, but you look at Mideon attacking Kurt Angle from behind. I think Mideon might feel that Kurt Angle is a little bit vulnerable. Might feel that his psyche is a little bit fragile here. Mideon's a veteran, knows exactly what he's doing in there.
Covered by Mideon, hooking the leg on Kurt Angle, and a kick out after a count of 1. You know, talk about fragile. I hope the Headbangers aren't fragile, because they're on a collision course with the Acolytes for later on in Heat.
We know that the Headbangers pride themselves on freedom of expression. The Acolytes pretty much go through things expressionless, and that only expression they deal out is pain.
Mideon, right across the sternum of Kurt Angle. Another cover of the Olympic champion. Mideon looking good in the kick out after 2.
Well, you know, it's great to hear the Hardy Boys just a few moments ago. Jonathan Coachman doing a great job as always. And of course, you know, the Hardy Boys might be down mentally right now, but they're not out. And I think, like they said, the Dudley Boys are going to have their day. The Hardy Boys will look to get revenge for Terry.
Belly to belly from Kurt Angle on Mideon. Later on in the program, we're going to have an update on the condition of Stone Cold Steve Austin, who underwent major surgery last week. Repair a problem in his back.
And coming up next, we'll take you back to the Royal Rumble. We'll look back at some of the great moments from the Intercontinental Championship Triple Threat match, Michael, that has Y2J now in charge.
Kurt Angle with a big knockdown. You know, Angle better worry more about this matchup than his little celebrations in the ring, or it's going to cost him. Mideon backed into the corner. The former Olympic gold medalist from the 1996 Olympics represented the USA. Kurt Angle in control of Mideon.
Back to basics there for Kurt Angle.
And again, the celebration.
A little lack of focus perhaps with Kurt.
Yeah, cost him.
You can't make mistakes with a veteran like Mideon.
Mideon whipped into the ropes by Kurt Angle. Kicks at midsection. Look out now. Oh, man. There we go. Here's the cover. Kurt Angle hooks the leg. There's 2, and he got it. This one's over. Kurt Angle picks up the win over Mideon.
You're not undefeated, Kurt, you have one loss here in the World Wrestling Federation, and it's to a man named Taz.
I'll tell you, Kurt Angle believes he's undefeated, believes Taz used an illegal maneuver at the Royal Rumble. But speaking of the Royal Rumble, what a matchup. Triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship.
That's right, Michael. It was for the undisputed Intercontinental Championship. China and Chris Jericho had entered this contest as co-champions, but both would relinquish their grasp of the gold and battle Hardcore Holly in a triple threat match. And indeed was triple threat, all three superstars tangling together at different times. But when all was said and done, it looked for a while as if China was going to walk away with the gold. Hardcore Holly gave it his all. The battle carried all over Madison Square Garden. Aerial artistry displayed, but when the final 3 count was told, it would be Chris Jericho, Y2J, that would have his hand raised in victory and would be declared the Intercontinental Champion.
It was Chris Jericho knocking the ninth wonder of the world, China, over after China used Jericho's signature finish, the Walls of Jericho. Jericho covered China, picked up the victory. He's now the Intercontinental Champ. And of course, the main event of the evening, Kevin, the Royal Rumble match. 30 superstars involved. The winner to get a first-class ticket to the main event at WrestleMania. All the superstars were involved, but it wasn't without controversy.
Well, of course, it did boil down eventually to the final 2 men in the ring being The Rock and The Big Show. Remember, The Rock had called the entire field, called them 29 jabronis. The Big Show was the only man to stand up to the Great One and say that indeed it would be he that goes to WrestleMania. But as the two battled throughout the ring, remember, it's an over-the-top rope battle royal, The Big Show took The Rock to school. And it was at this moment that The Big Show felt he won, although The Rock was able to pull himself back in and was declared the winner. But to this date, Michael, controversy still broils as The Big Show felt he should have been declared the winner.
What a week it's been for The Rock. First, he won the Royal Rumble match to get a first-class ticket to WrestleMania. Then on Raw this past week, he was forced into a handicap match against Triple H and The Big Show, but Rikishi came down to actually team with The Rock. And then on SmackDown, Triple H tried to divide and conquer this new alliance, forcing The Rock to take on Rikishi one-on-one. What an ovation for the People's Champ, The Rock. But King, he's going to have his hands full against the well over 400-pound Rikishi here tonight.
He weighs in at 424 pounds. Rikishi Faarooq.
You know, King, Rock and Rikishi were forced to go one-on-one in this matchup tonight by Triple H and Stephanie.
Well, they were partners last week, but, you know, to be honest with you, Rock didn't know that he and Rikishi were going to be partners last week. Rikishi just showed up, I guess, sort of out of the goodness of his heart to be Rock's partner.
Yeah, we believed it was going to be Rock versus Triple H and The Big Show in a handicap match, and Rikishi came down to lend a hand to The Rock, but tonight they go one-on-one against one another as Triple H and Stephanie hope to divide and conquer this alliance that was formed on Raw.
You got to admit, that's brilliant strategy from the Stephanie McMahon and McMahon-Helmsley era. Divide and conquer. I mean, drive that wedge in there. Make sure that these guys never, ever are able to form a tag team.
Well, Triple H and Stephanie want to make sure that no other alliance, no other union becomes as powerful as the McMahon-Helmsley era.
Like a Rumposaurus.
And Rock and Rikishi staring at each other across the ring. Look at the intensity in the eyes of Rikishi.
Well, I don't think Rikishi is intimidated at all by The Rock's reputation. And Rikishi knows if he were to sit with that on The Rock's face, what a reputation he'd make for himself.
And in no way is The Rock intimidated by the well over 400-pound Rikishi Fatu. And Rikishi tries with the right hand, Rock blocked it. Here we go. People's Champ The Rock against Rikishi, one-on-one here on SmackDown. And Rikishi with a lot of power behind those right hands.
A lot of power, a lot of weight.
Rikishi whipped off the rope with a clothesline, knocks the big man off his feet.
Look how quick Rikishi's up. Look at this.
Up again, Rock with the right hand. Reversal by Rikishi. Rock into the ropes. Rikishi misses with the right. And look at this Samoan drop by Rikishi. Think about over 400 pounds crashing into your ribs as your back hits the mat.
That could bust you all up inside. But that's nothing compared to what that rear end sitting on your face could do to you. Oh, man.
Rikishi. Shot to the face of The Rock, the People's Champ. Wobbling. And another one. The Rock on his way to WrestleMania at this point to face the champion, but the Big Show believes that he actually won the Royal Rumble match, and he's trying to prove it to Triple H and Stephanie.
Well, he had proof. Oh, this is what I'm talking about.
Look out.
Look out, it's Rock. No.
Rock moves out of the way. The quickness of the Rock. Help him in this matchup. Oh, look at that. Oh, how did he do that? Spinebuster. Hook to the leg. Cover. And a kick out by Rikishi after 2. Tremendous strength by the Brahma Bull.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. The reaction from the crowd is just a little different because, I mean, these are two of the most popular guys. Certainly The Rock and the Rikishi's become one of the most popular guys in the WWF, and now they're being forced to fight each other here tonight.
Yeah, being forced by Triple H and Stephanie to fight each other. Triple H and Stephanie, along with DX King, they don't want any other alliance to get as strong as they are. They don't want any other challenge from any other union here in the World Wrestling Federation.
Brilliant.
Well, it was a good move.
Now, wait
a
minute, Rock. Give me a break now.
Rock going for
Even
Rikishi.
The Rock can't do that.
Rikishi counters into a suplex.
I told you.
The smaller Rock's back, taking the majority of the blow as Rikishi rolls into the cover, and Rock kicks out after 2.
I know you got to be impressed with Rikishi. He's hanging with The Rock.
I am impressed with Rikishi. Can you imagine a win for Rikishi here? What that would do to elevate his career if he could knock off the Brahma Bull.
Well, I'll tell you, we all saw right here on SmackDown.
Oh, Samoan drop of his own! Rock with a Samoan drop of his own! Cover, hooks the leg, and somehow Rikishi gets the shoulder up.
We all saw Rikishi take Triple H to the limit. He almost beat Triple H for the WWF title here on SmackDown not long ago. And I think that's one reason Triple H doesn't want his guy to build up a big head of steam, especially to get aligned with The Rock.
Yeah, Rikishi could have run the Royal Rumble match as well. It took 6 men, 6 superstars to eliminate Rikishi Sunday night in the Royal Rumble match. He's so agile for his big, his big body.
And his strength and his power. I mean, he floored The Rock there with one shot. You don't see many people do that.
Oh, Rock kicked in the mid-stage, plants Rikishi with a DDT, but Rikishi pops right back up.
What a hard hit!
And a kick to the face. Did you see the way Rikishi popped up from that DDT?
Oh, man!
And then delivered the shot to the face.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. I think I know what's on Rikishi's mind here.
And Rock is in trouble. Oh, look. What is Rikishi going to do here? Rock to his feet.
He's letting The Rock get up for some reason. Oh, no!
He's not going to try this. He's not going to try that sit-out pile driver, King. Rock countered. Rock bottom. Rock bottom. Rock bottom. Wait a minute.
He couldn't do it. The weight was too much. I think Rock's leg gave out.
I think you're right, King. That was well over 400 pounds. The Rock trying to rock bottom Rikishi, and both men are down. Trying to lift that 400-pounder up over his head took so much out of The Rock.
I got to say, that wasn't a smart move on the part of The Rock. This guy, Rikishi, had already taken a lot out of Rock. Then to try to do that move.
Well, Rikishi trying to make it to his feet. The Rock coming alive as well.
See, Rock's got a huge ego, the same ego that he used to call all these guys. He's going to try
it. Not again. He got it. Now he got it. Rock bottom. Rock bottom on Rikishi. Telling the world to The Rock. Do the rock bottom to Rikishi.
Well, see, that just goes to show you never tell The Rock he can't do something.
And the Brahma Bull to his feet again. Another right hand. Rikishi in trouble. Backing up the Rikishi in the corner.
Uh-oh.
Landing back down for good measure. The big man's down.
You think they got a room big enough for Rikishi in the SmackDown Hotel? Oh!
Rikishi into the turnbuckle. And look at the strength. And Rock into the referee. The referee's down. Belly to belly by Rikishi.
Earl Hebner's out.
The referee's been knocked down.
He got squashed.
And Rikishi. Oh no, King.
And now The Rock's going to get squashed. Ah!
Rikishi staring at the People's Champ, and he's dragging The Rock to the corner. He can't do this. He's not going to do this, King.
Sure he can do it.
We saw Rikishi do it to China on SmackDown last week, but now he's going to do it to The Rock.
You're fixing to see gravity rear its ugly head here.
This is well over 400 pounds.
And speaking of ugly head,
a second rope.
What is Rock's face going to look like after that massive, bulbous,
but 424 pounds from the second rope. Chest of the bull. Right into the chest of The Rock.
He got The Rock.
Rikishi has this one won, but wait a minute. The Big Show Show in the ring. And he just knocked Rikishi for a loop. He almost took his head off. And Big Show screaming to the Rock King. Now you're mine. The Big Show came for the Rock. Wait a minute. The Big Show screaming to the Rock. Now you're mine.
Well, I'll tell you something. This is what the Big Show has wanted ever since the Royal Rumble. He wanted another shot at the Rock. Look at this.
Show slam. Show slam. We got to go right here. Triple H. Hey, the game in the ring. The champion. The WWF champion. Pedigreed Rikishi. A pedigree to Rikishi. A choke slam to the Rock. And the assault continues. And here comes Stephanie. Triple H's wife, Stephanie McMahon Helmsley, with the championship belt. Watches on as Triple H and Big Show continue the carnage on the Rock and Rikishi. And here comes Too Cool. What is this? Rikishi's running buddies. Too Cool into the ring. And Big Show and Triple H hammering away on Grandmaster Sensei and Scotty 2 Hotty. These guys are getting destroyed. This new alliance of Triple H and the Big Show leaving carnage in the ring. Oh no. A pedigree to Scotty 2 Hotty. And Triple H is calling for a double choke slam at Too Cool. Double choke slam. Too Cool, the Rock. Oh my gosh. Rikishi left laying at the hands of the Big Show and Triple H. Disruption. I'll tell you, the Big Show and Triple H, that alliance is scary.
It definitely is, Michael.
The following tag team contest is scheduled for one fall. Making their way to the ring at a combined weight of 492 pounds. Mosh and Pressure, the Headbangers.
We called it earlier an alliance of convenience. Certainly was very convenient, very prosperous for the McMahon-Helmsley era to have the Big Show on their side. Can you imagine what it would be like for Triple H and all of DX to be able to rely on the Big Show at a moment's notice, to be able to call on a 7-foot monster like that?
Well, hey, Kevin, it looks like the Headbangers have been in the Jonathan Coachman collection.
Wow. Picked out a couple of beauties there, Thrasher. Nicely done.
You know, the last few weeks, we've been hearing some really rude, nasty, and derogatory comments. Like weirdos and freaks and other stuff like that. To all of you, I say this. Hey, thanks for noticing. And then there's been other people coming up to us and going, Headbangers, why the face paint? Why the skirts? Why the cones? Why? Because we can. And it's some embarrassing crap, getting the crap kicked out of you by a couple of guys wearing skirts and cones. So, Acolytes, we think you suck! So come down here and find out exactly how embarrassing it is.
I don't believe they just done this. That is wise. Why in the world did you make Faarooq and Bradshaw any more angry than they are?
Their opponents, at a combined weight of 578 pounds, Bradshaw and Faarooq, the Acolytes.
Looked like Faarooq was just making sure that he heard what he heard. Say, Bradshaw, did he say what I think he said? Bradshaw said, yep. Well, the Headbangers better take out their life insurance policy. Mosh and Thrasher try to cut off Faarooq and Bradshaw at the pass. And here we go for what will not be a quote-unquote wrestling match.
The Acolytes have made their legacy known here in the World Wrestling Federation on this exact form of brutality. This is what they love to do.
Faarooq hammering away on Thrasher, the two legal men in the ring. This match underway. Thrasher off the ropes. Faarooq misses right hand. Nice standing drop kick by Thrasher up underneath the chin. Great to hear that Stone Cold Steve Austin's surgery went so well.
Absolutely, and Stone Cold's mental state is very strong. And I think the Rattlesnake's future is very bright.
What a slam by Faarooq. Calls for the boot, face first, into that big size 14 that Bradshaw wears.
I'll tell you, you got to give it up to the Acolytes. Their contest with the Outlaws at the Royal Rumble, it was a war, and X-Pac helped play the difference in allowing the Outlaws to keep the gold. The Acolytes aren't done pursuing the tag team champions, though.
Speaking of X-Pac, what in the world is wrong with that guy?
Well, very shameful actions by X-Pac. You saw them yesterday on SmackDown. And of course now X-Pac has Tori by his side. And I feel so badly for Kane. His heart absolutely broken by his former best friend and now his former first girlfriend.
You know, who's more shameful in all this, X-Pac or Tori?
Well, both are culpable, of course. But X-Pac, I think, he's the instigator in all this. He's the one that probably went after Tori. I mean, she's never been all that mentally stable either.
Boss off the ropes. He walked right into Bradshaw. Look out. Fall away slam by Bradshaw. You know, Kane has been heartbroken, stabbed in the back yet again, abandoned again. Oh, no. Faarooq.
How about this? I want a good look at this.
No! Oh, man! That's a good look, all right. Thanks, Mr. Faarooq. What are you thanking him for?
See, I'm taking the opposite approach to the Headbangers. You say mister, you say please, you say thank you. You maybe leave the area with your head still intact.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, there's no promises.
Covered by Bradshaw and Moss. There's two, and a kick out by Moss.
Hey, come on, man.
You know, I think if I was in a match against the Acolytes, I'd probably just go in and lay down and let him cover me.
Oh, and I'm sure they would just do that, Michael. I can just see that. You and Coachman and the tag team against the Acolytes.
Oh, man. Big knockdown by Bradshaw and Faarooq.
Coachman's big buddies with the Acolytes, too. Wait a minute, look at this. Look at this, the strength.
There's a cover and a kick out after two.
Doing a one-arm push-up across the man's chest. Oh, no, rolls him over. Small package. Could be an upset.
And a kick out after two, and Faarooq didn't take too kindly. So Mosh almost pulling the quick one. Here's the cover. There's two, and again, Mosh gets the shoulder up.
Boy, as tough as the Acolytes are, you got to give it up for their athletic prowess. You saw Faarooq quick as a cat, back on his feet. And at first to the attack, spinebuster.
Here's a cover again by Faarooq. Folks, this one is over. The Acolytes pick up the win over the Headbangers.
Here are your winners, the Acolytes.
Folks, don't forget that Heat comes back to its normal time next week of 4 o'clock, and we invite you to join us. It's 4 on 4 every Sunday.
The Acolytes pick up the victory over the Headbangers. For Kevin Kelly, I'm Michael Cole. Thanks for joining us on Heat on Channel 4. We'll see everybody next week.
Mention our names, familiar in their mouths as household words. Harry the King, Bedford and Exeter, Warwick and Talbot, Salisbury and Gloucester be in their flowing cups freshly remembered. This story shall the good man teach his son, and Crispin Crispian shall ne'er go by from this day to the ending of the world. But we in it shall be remembered. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers, for he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he ne'er so vile, this day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen in England, now abed, shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhood's chief, whiles any speaks that fought with us upon St. Crispin's Day!